E-bike brands tend to develop traits that they become known for, and Mokwheel is no exception. The brand hit the scene a few years ago and quickly built a loyal following with big, beefy machines packed with power, large batteries, and some unique features, like one of their cool party tricks in the form of a power inverter, which can transform the bike into a portable power station, perfect for charging smaller electronics on the go. But now, Mokwheel has grown beyond being the new kid on the block. Today, we're taking a closer look at the latest version of one of their most popular models with the Basalt ST 2.0. Let's dive in and explore what makes this bike stand out from the crowd and what it does best in today's review. Hello and welcome everyone, I'm Griffin with Electric Bike Report, and before we dive into today's review, I'd like to invite you to hit that subscribe button. Here at Electric Bike Report, we don't just do product reviews, we also offer educational content, and we've got a weekly show covering e-bike news, the latest sales, and our favorite cycling finds from around the web. Tap that notification bell so that you never miss a thing. Now, let's talk about Mokwheel's Basalt 2.0 ST model here. Now there's a lot to cover, but before we get into the specs, I want to share my biggest takeaways from testing this bike. First off, this bike has serious speed. As I mentioned earlier, e-bike brands tend to have calling cards, and for Mokwheel, it's powerful bikes. The Basalt 750 watt hub motor with an 1100 watt peak and 90 Newton meters of torque is a true powerhouse. We'll dig deeper into this in the speed and hill tests coming up, but the TLDR is that this bike speeds along quickly on both roads and dirt, and it tackles hills effortlessly. The torque sensor that it uses for motor engagement isn't the most natural one out there, but it's definitely a step forward. The torque sensor in tandem with the drivetrain made this one of the smoother Mokwheel rides that I've experienced while maintaining that fun and speedy profile. Now my second takeaway, this bike is pretty comfortable. The ST frame is of course nice thanks to the low step over height, just 16.85 inches on our regular size tester here. The bike's design keeps you sitting fairly upright, reducing back strain, and the adjustable stem lets you fine-tune your riding position. The handlebars and tires provide reliable handling, giving you a stable, confident feel. Now, while there are a few sizing notes about leg extension that I'll touch on later, overall, I think this bike is just pretty comfortable. Finally, I really appreciated the new safety features added to the 2.0 model. The bike now comes with integrated taillights on the seat stays that double as turn signals. I'm always a fan of improved visibility and communication out on the roads, so this is a great addition. But what really stood out is the display. It's a sharp-looking color LCD that can be detached and stored in a bag or purse. Why? Because once removed, the motor is disabled, preventing the bike from being ridden with motor assistance, similar to taking the key out of your car. So bike lock should always be your first line of defense, but disabling the motor on a heavy fat tire bike adds an extra layer of theft deterrence, which is a great idea. Okay, now that we've covered the takeaways, let's talk about the specs. I mentioned the motor earlier, but powering that motor is a large 19.6 amp hour or 941 watt hour battery. It is UL 2271 certified, and it's removable for charging off the bike if you like, and it comes with a 3 amp charger. The ST frame is available in 2 sizes, regular like our tester and a large. You also have 4 color options to choose from: white, olive green, orange, and even jungle camo. The frame is made of aluminum, and with that massive battery, the bike weighs in at a hefty 82 pounds. The bike features 26 by 4 inch fat tires with a knobby tread, making it suitable for some dirt exploration. And for stopping power, it's equipped with Tektro hydraulic brakes, the E350 model with 2 piston calipers and 180mm rotors. The drivetrain is a 7-speed Shimano derailleur paired with a 52-tooth chainring and 14 to 28-tooth freewheel, offering a solid range for both climbing and cruising. Up front is an unbranded spring suspension fork with 110mm of travel and preload adjustment. The handlebar is 680mm wide and comes with faux leather grips featuring a soft squishy bubble in the center. On the left side, you'll find the thumb throttle and the control pad, which lets you adjust motor power, change settings, and activate the integrated turn signals. On the right, you've got rapid-fire trigger shifters and a small discrete bell. In the center is the detachable display I mentioned earlier, and removing it is super simple. You just have to squeeze the back and it pops right off. Additional features include fenders, a dual beam front headlight, a rear rack, and the ability to support a total payload of 350 pounds. As of this recording, the bike is selling for just $16.99. Now that we've gone over all of the features, let's dive into how the Basalt 2.0 ST performed in our testing. In our first test, we take a look at the brakes. I personally handle this test for all the bikes that we review to keep things consistent in terms of effort and rider weight. For the Basalt ST 2.0, I rode up to 20 miles per hour, hit the brakes, measured the stopping distance, and then repeated the process 2 more times to calculate an average. The Basalt performed nicely with a 21-foot 8-inch stopping distance, which happens to be spot on for our current average of all e-bikes. Overall, this was a pretty good showing from the Tektro hydraulic brakes. E350s aren't flashy, but they are pretty much an e-bike standard as they are amongst the most common brakes that we've tested. They should be easy to maintain and get replaced when the time comes. Now, the test results provide a useful benchmark, but the real-world performance felt great too. The brakes have enough power to slow down the heavier bike and confidently ease you into stops, whether you're braking on a longer downhill stretch or slowing quickly in a hurry. And importantly, the brakes avoid fishtailing or locking up, providing smooth, controlled stops. For our next test, we're going to answer the question, how fast does the bike go in each PAS setting? We'll also throw in a test to see how quickly the throttle maxes out. Now, typically we conduct Class 2 and Class 3 speed tests if the bike's got them to show you what the speeds are like, but this time I had to do things a little bit differently. Let's head out to the speed course so you can see how the Basalt 2.0 ST performed. All right, so this is our speed test for the Mokwheel Basalt ST 2.0, and right now I'm pedaling around, just going like second gear without any motor power. It's getting just under 8 miles per hour, up to 8 miles per hour, definitely a heavier bike. Let's go ahead and kick on that motor and see how the story changes. So yeah, you can feel the power kick in. It's noticeable when it turns on, but it's also not jumpy or jarring at all. Just kind of ramps things up. It kind of just keeps picking up speed and moving along. Again, it's a torque sensor e-bike, so I should, I'm trying to keep a little bit of tension in the chain, but still let the bike kind of take me where it wants to go. Steadily climbing here. I'm going about 15 miles per hour, still moving up a little bit. Kind of see where it wants to settle. So just under 16 miles per hour, about 16 miles per hour. Let's go ahead and move to pedal assist 2. Change from third up to fourth gear. And again, as we kind of go throughout this test, you'll see my feet move faster. I'm just trying to keep fairly consistent tension in, through the drivetrain to make sure it's giving me the benefits of the torque sensor. Going about 19 miles per hour here in pedal assist 2. Pedal assist 3 now, picking up a good amount of speed. Again, still ramps up really nicely, never jumps or lurches ahead. I really appreciate that. Climbing all the way up to about 22.7 miles per hour. Now in 7th gear, I've maxed out my gear range, about 22.5. Sticking that pedal assist 4. Just kind of climbing a little bit. Moving upwards, just 25 miles per hour. Have to move my legs a little bit faster, but no ghost pedaling though, that's really nice. 26 miles per hour, gonna slow down a little bit into this turn, but I think finding the top at about 26.2. Move things up a little bit more into the other side of this turn. It'll take a second to build back that speed. Yeah, it's easy moving up at this faster mile per hour. It's not requiring a ton from me, but I'm keeping some tension in that chain. So you go on 28, still climbing. Upwards, almost 29.6 miles per hour. So it's a little bit faster. Upwards of almost 30 miles per hour, but let's kind of recap those results. But first, let's jump into the throttle test. All right, so this is our throttle test for the Basalt ST 2.0. On your mark, get set, go. So starts out, not too blazing fast, but very controlled, but it ramps up pretty quickly. As you can see, it's climbing up to 17, 18 and a half. Ooh, kind of jumped there a little bit. And 20. All right, there you have it. Okay, now that we're back at the studio, let's recap those results. Without any motor power, I was riding at 8.8 miles per hour. It definitely felt like a heavy bike with wide tires, but with a little motor assistance, things picked up pretty quickly. PAS 1 went to 16.2 miles per hour, 19.2 in PAS 2, 22.6 in PAS3, 26.2 in PAS4, and finally 29.6 in PAS5. That is quite the speedy profile, but there are a few things to talk about here. So first off, there's a chance that our bike was not functioning normally. Mokwheel settings menu lets you customize the max speed for each PAS level instead of toggling between a class 2 20 mph max or a class 3 28 mph max speed. However, even though PAS1 on our bike was set to 10 mph in that test, I was easily able to reach 16 mph without much effort. It was the same with all the different PAS levels that I tested. Adjusting the speed settings up or down didn't seem to affect the programming. The bike kind of just consistently maintained what I would describe as a speedier class 3 profile. Now, after exchanging emails with Mokwheel's owner, he explained that this was a first-time issue for them. The models that they tested at their office didn't experience the same behavior. So while the bike is designed to slightly exceed the set speed limits for a smoother ride, my results, going up to 6 mph beyond the limit, that was an anomaly they couldn't replicate in their office. So if you're a Basalt 2.0 rider who is watching this video, I'd actually love to hear about your experience in the comments. Has your bike behaved similar to the way ours did? That said, I think that the bike handles well if you enjoy faster speeds, and personally, I do. The acceleration feels manageable. It's not too abrupt, but it's powerful enough to get you up to speed without struggle. The torque sensor also does an alright job of responding to rider effort. It'll deliver more motor power when you push harder on the pedals. That responsiveness is definitely a plus. In my experience, I'd call this bike a speed seeker's friend, and if you don't want it to go fast, you can always, ease up on the pedals to keep things more relaxed. Okay, let's talk about the Basalt 2.0 ST's range. For this test, we run the bike twice, once with a fully charged battery in its highest assist level, and then again after recharging it using the lowest assist level to establish a real-world range expectation. Now, we conduct this test on a multi-use path and typically perform it in class 2 settings. However, as we covered in the speed test, this bike tends to default to faster speeds. So to keep the data comparable with other bikes we've tested, we used low gears on PAS1 for the lower assist test and aim to maintain roughly 20 mph for class 2 speed limit during the high PAS test as best as we could. As a reminder, the Basalt 2.0 is equipped with a large 941 watt-hour battery, and Mokwheel advertises a range of up to 80 miles. That's a pretty high bar, so let's talk about how it did. In our max pedal test, the Basalt achieved an impressive 36.8 miles. This result places it in the upper tier of fat tire bikes we've tested with 750 watt motors. And for context, the current average for this criteria is 31 miles. The min pedal assist test was equally solid, reporting a range of 63 miles. That's slightly above the current average for this category, which stands at 58 miles. Again, since this bike moves faster even in its lowest PAS setting, this suggests it has the potential for even greater range, and I think getting closer to the advertised 80 miles is realistic, depending on how and where you ride. Fast and powerful motors are always fun, but a bike can feel like a letdown if it burns through its battery too quickly. One of the best features of the Basalt 2.0 is its massive battery, which provides more range than most comparable bikes. This means you can easily go days at a time without needing to recharge, making it a great value for riders who want long-distance performance. Our final test is the notoriously difficult hill climb test done at our beloved Hellhole Trail. It's a tough third of a mile climb with an average 12% grade, and it is done each time by our team member Justin for consistency across our data. Let's take a look and see how the Basalt 2.0 did on the throttle and pedal assist attempts.
We are out at Hellhole doing the throttle test on the latest version of the Mokwheel Basalt ST. This has been a kind of a perennial good performer on Hellhole. So I've got pretty decent expectations right now, right around 11.6 miles per hour, kind of holding nice and steady, 10.4, 9.3. Speedometer's not updating. It's almost like a second to adjust and then it kind of jumps. So it's kind of holding right at 9.3 through there. I think that's about where it's going to bottom out on that first section. The motor noise, it's been a minute since I tested the last Mokwheel Basalt, so I can't necessarily say comparative, but just in general, I'd say it's a little quieter for a rear hub than what I'd expect. Rear hubs have been getting better lately. But I'll let you listen here, and then as I come out of this last steep section. So yeah, I bottomed out right about 9.3 miles per hour on that section, and the noise of the motor sounds lower on kind of the spectrum. where it's not a high pitched, which I like the fact that it's lower. I don't hear it as much myself personally, and just feels nice and smooth and consistent with the throttle. I have a feeling we'll have a decent score. We'll check the tape, turn around, and do the pedal test. Okay, back out on the Mokwheel Basalt ST, 7th gear, doing the pedal test. And again, feels pretty strong through here. So 16 miles an hour, 15, 15.5, 14.7, 13.1. Kind of holding right about there. Shifted down to 4th, 12.1. Yeah, so I'm not having to pedal very hard at all. I'm really letting the bike and the motor do most of it here. The motor sound, I feel like it's a little bit louder now that I'm pedaling. I'll let you listen through this last section here. So you can hear more as I speed up. Still, I feel like it's better than average sound-wise when pedaling, and just very comfortable making it up this hill. You're not going to have any hard time, you know, getting up a hill at pretty decent click on this thing. We'll go to the tape and see how it does compared to the other ones.
The bike delivered good to great performance across our 2 tests. It achieved a throttle climb time of 1 minute and 32 seconds for an 11.8 mile per hour average, which just edges out the current e-bike average by 2 seconds. Then, with a little help from pedaling, Justin got the Basalt up the hill at a quicker pace of 1 minute and 13 seconds, which comes out to a 14.9 mile per hour average, a speedy 15 seconds faster than our current average. So either of these times feel impressive for a bike that weighs over 80 pounds. Not only were the times strong, but the motor didn't appear to strain too much during the effort. From my experience testing the bike around town and off the beaten path, it handles hills well and has a gear range broad enough to let you find a comfortable pedaling effort when climbing. The one note I'd give is that this bike works best on hills with a full head of steam, so build up some momentum before hitting larger climbs. Or, you know, you can take it easy, hit the throttle, and let the bike do the work. Whatever you prefer. There's no more data to show, but we like to wrap things up with one final trip to dive into all the quality details and talk about how they add up on a ride like the Basalt 2.0 ST. So let's run out one last time. So I mean, I would just say that in general, out on the roads, the Basalt 2.0 is actually a really nice and comfortable ride. I mean, it's got really good power, but it's just really easy and accessible. The step-through frame, of course, really helps. So let's kind of dissect all the different things that kind of go into its overall ride quality. So one thing that I do like about it is, you know, this adjustable stem here. I really like it when I can kind of dial in my reach, get the hand placement where I want to. The overall positioning, I mean, I'm fairly straight backed and upright, so it's almost cruisery-ish in feel that way. And it's kind of nice to be able to raise the, you know, stem up, get the handlebars exactly where I want my hands to rest. And then, now there are some limitations to the sizing. So Mokwheel does say this will be good for people up to 6'4", I believe. I think that's a little bit limited. I'm 6'1" with a 32-inch inseam, and I'm getting about maybe 80 or 90% of the leg extension I wish I had on it, so it can be a little bit cramped in that regard. Now, luckily, you have a very powerful motor. It's very easy to not have to use a lot of leg power. You can make light work of things, so if you throttle a lot or keep it in high PAS settings, your legs shouldn't get too fatigued. I would say, though, for people who actively pedal, it's, again, maybe not ideal leg extension. You might be better off on the high-step model, which will accommodate taller riders a little bit better. Now, in terms of some of the other features that kind of go into the comfort, that 16-inch step over, again, really simple, really easy, nice to have. And then I really appreciate as well just kind of what you're getting with this handlebar. It's more narrow. It's not even 700 mil, but kind of combined with a 26x4-inch fat tire, it feels like a really good natural pairing. It's not twitchy or anything like that. Just feel like you have like good, decent control for kind of cruising around. And going back to the tires, of course, they've got some chunky tread to them. So in addition to the width, which gives you a little bit more stability, it is just a little bit of a wider tire with a little bit of chunk to it. You can hit some, you can hit some light dirt, some light gravel, not do anything too insane. I'm not going to say go mountain biking anytime soon, but we always like the Basalt as, like a campground explorer or something like that. If you've got a well-worn, wide open dirt area, go have some fun. Enjoy, the benefits that you get with this tire and this tread pattern. The fork also has done a better job than I would have thought. So it is 110 millimeter travel spring fork. It does have some adjustment you can make to it. It's unbranded, so I can't speak to its longevity, but in terms of performance, I'm actually pretty happy with it. It's not uncommon to find forks when they're not branded that I bottom out on. However, this one, I haven't really had that issue yet. I think it's, partially aided by the fact that you are so upright and kind of a little bit further back. I'm not really like forward into my palms too much, but even when I am, I mean, again, I'm not bottoming the thing out, which is great. So overall, again, just a lot that they're doing well, I think, on the Basalt 2.0. And the motor engagement, I think, is something that is really nice. Kind of comparing, I've ridden the Basalt 1.0 in comparison to this one, and I think this one's a little bit more dialed in. It ramps you up into those higher speeds in a better way, in my opinion, a little bit more gradual. At times it felt jumpy on the previous model, but I think this one's just a little bit more smoother acceleration as you kind of work with that drivetrain and with the pedal assist settings. It'll definitely get you going fast if that's what you like and enjoy, but it'll get you there a little bit more of a controlled and dialed in manner, which is just really nice. So all right, so now we're off the beaten path here, and this is where things get really fun. It's, what's appealing about fat tire e-bikes to me, just kind of their hybrid nature. You're probably gonna ride them most of the time, in paved or on top of paved roads, but even when you kind of come out here, like I'm out in the desert, some of this looser dirt and sand, I mean, the wide tires are just really forgiving. They got good traction, allow you to grip through it and stay in control, which just lets you kind of have fun. I mean, you're gonna keep this into like, camping areas, OHV places, things like that. Nothing overly challenging or technical, but I mean, it's just a lot of fun because you can romp around and explore. You got all the power that you need from this bike. I mean, you build up a good head of steam into some of these larger hills like this one here. I mean, you can see it gets to the top without any effort. And then even on the descent, there's enough power in the brakes coming down this. I mean, again, you can kind of see there just how loose it was, but the tires do a good job, brakes do a good job. It's just got everything you need to explore and have fun. Now, one of the things about this adjustable stem here, again, don't push the bike too hard. I've noticed, if you go too fast, you're on something too bumpy, sometimes I've pushed hard enough forward, I actually torque it down and move the stem. That can feel a little dangerous, but again, I think for the purposes of this bike, just something that you can comfortably ride around town and then hit those areas like this, wide open spaces on the weekend. It's just a really good and fun time. And just on a final note, one thing we love to see is when brands offer accessories designed specifically for their bikes. Sure, the options might be limited buying through the brand versus other places online, but it's always reassuring to know that the accessories will fit your ride perfectly. Mokwheel has all the basics like trunk bags, extra padded saddles, and rear view mirrors, but they also offer some unique extras that set them apart. For example, you can pick up a cargo trailer that attaches to the rear axle, and it's perfect for carrying gear like the solar panels and inverter that Mokwheel also sells. Those accessories are one of the reasons we've always thought of the Basalt as an excellent camping bike. With the inverter, you can turn your bike's battery into a portable power source to charge other electronics. We've tested it with portable speakers and phones, and it seemed to work just fine, but Mokwheel claims it can handle even larger devices like mini fridges, microwaves, TVs, and more. So if you're looking to elevate your adventures, these extras open up a whole new level of possibilities. There's a lot to like and a lot that you can do with the Mokwheel Basalt ST 2.0. It's got impressive power that ramps up smoothly, and the step-through frame makes it highly accessible. The upright riding position, wide tires, adjustable stem, and other thoughtful features make it a very comfortable ride. The fork performs well, and with the fat tires and knobby tread, this bike is ready for adventure. Pair it with the optional inverter and solar panels, and you've got everything you need for your next overnight campout. It's a bike built to have a blast. Even without the optional accessories, the Basalt ST 2.0 provides excellent value. The large battery offers enough life to fuel several days of riding, and the practical features like racks, fenders, and integrated lighting make it a great choice for getting around town with ease. It's a speedy bike, which makes it exciting to ride, though it could feel a little bit more refined in how it handles the speed. Additionally, the leg extension on this step-through model might be a little limited for taller riders. At least that was the case on our regular size test model here. Still, if you're looking for a fat tire e-bike with plenty of power, the Basalt 2.0 is definitely worth a closer look. That's gonna do it for this review. What did you think about this bike? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you decide to pick one up, you can support the channel by using our affiliate links. Your support helps us continue to bring thorough testing and reviews to you online. I'm Griffin with Electric Bike Report, and I'll see you on the next review.